All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the Las Vegas Raiders and Chad Johnson, I guess, pranked us all. Weird situation. Anyways, earlier today, Chad Johnson on IG Live. Feels weird to say that out loud. Yes, I got a job with the Raiders, not as a staff member, but as a member of the organization. I'm not sure what it is exactly yet, but I will be a part of the team, and that's an amazing thing. So, I think I think it was like earlier today that people were thinking he was going to come on in here. He didn't have an official position, but he was going to be maybe the assistant wide receiver coach. None of this matters to me because I just absolutely love what Antonio Pierce is building. He's building a team. He's building great leaders of men. Edgar Bennett as the wide receiver coach earlier today. He added former Jaguars defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell as the running game coordinator and LB coach. Caldwell had a bunch of suitors, including the Eagles, Bills, and Ravens. So he heads over to Vegas to join Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham and Luke Getsy. And I just like what Antonio Pierce is building, like jokes aside, trolling aside, Chad Johnson aside. I do like that they are bringing in a lot of former players. I like they are bringing in proven coaches with experience. I think it's going to go a long way, man. I really do. One thing we immediately noticed when Josh McDaniels got fired and Antonio Pierce was the interim head coach is just the respect, the locker room vibe. Like, Antonio Pierce, former legend, former linebacker, former defensive player in the Hard Knocks era. Like, you respect him if you're a player. And that goes a very long way. And, I'm not really even trying to make a jab at Josh McDaniels here. Josh McDummy, as a lot of people call him. But, like, respecting your head coach, I think, goes a long way. I forget who it was. I was watching a game earlier this season, and their head coach picked up, it might have been, I don't think it was Dan Campbell. Of course, I can't think of it right now, but I was watching a game, and on the sideline, the coach picked up, the wide receiver, the defensive back, or whoever was on the ground. And, just kind of made me think to myself, like, damn, dude, there's not many coaches in the National Football League that would be able to do that, like, just physically speaking. Anyways, I digress. Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders in tonight's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with a couple of Raiders videos every single week. Raiders fans, we could try and get this video to 250 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So this is what I do know. Tom Telesco, new GM, Luke Getsy, offense coordinator, Patrick Graham is back. They're bringing in all of these guys like Marvin Lewis and Edgar Bennett, all of these former, players, all these coaches. They're building a team. Antonio Pierce is building a team, and he's gotten a lot of flack for the Luke Getsy hire. And I always revert back to like Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Just kind of they loved Luke Getsy. His tenure in Chicago didn't work, and we've been talking about it since they hired him, but I'll just quickly summarize it. Luke Getsy runs a very specific style of scheme, right? He wants his quarterbacks to get the ball out of his hands immediately or as soon as possible. And that's just not Justin Fields' strong suit. That's just not his forte. And so to me, the match just didn't work. And we look at Luke Getsy, and it's like, the dude knows how to run. At the very least, the Chicago Bears led the NFL in total rushing yards in the last 2 seasons. A lot of people like to bring up the stat, oh, if you remove Justin Fields, they go back down to 24th. And it's like, that's not really the point to me still. The Chicago Bears, who had won 10 games in the previous 2 combined seasons, they were top 3 in total big plays in the National Football League in those 2 seasons. Like, it's hard for me to nitpick Chicago Bears coaches, because as a Chicagoan, as someone who was born and bred in the Chicagoland area, it's just a dysfunctional franchise. Like, sorry if you're a Bears fan watching this video right now, but you're probably like agreeing with me right now. The Chicago Bears organization has been poorly ran for a multitude of seasons and even a multitude of decades. And when I look at Luke Getsy being paired up with Davante Adams and future quarterback 1, because I don't think it's going to be Aiden O'Connell. We'll talk about that in a second. Like, Davante Adams praised Luke Getsy when the two worked together in Green Bay. Getsy served as the Packers receivers coach during Adams' emergence as the lead wideout. I like the hire. And at the very least, I think Raiders fans who are skeptical of it should at least be open to it. They should at least, do some digging of your own, because once again, a lot of Bears fans just hate Luke Getsy, but they love Justin Fields. But the reality of it is that never should have worked. I was at week 1, Packers at Bears, and I'm watching this guy play, and he looked like freaking Aaron Rodgers. And you want your quarterback to lean into his instincts. I don't want him to be, a budget Aaron Rodgers, because that's not Justin Fields. That was never what he was supposed to be. That's never what he is. That's not what he's going to be. Like, it was clear as day, especially when he dropped back, that he looked like Aaron Rodgers. And that's just not Justin Fields' forte once again. So I'm excited about Luke Getsy coming on in. Now, I do think there's going to be a ton of changes. Like, as the days go by, I'm not quite sure Josh Jacobs will return with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he's got a lot of potential suitors. He had a down season. Maybe he can get him on the cheap. 2 years removed from being the leading rusher in the National Football League, and Zamir White in the final 4 games of the regular season when Josh Jacobs was injured, the dude looked like the real deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to go sign a veteran running back, kind of almost like what Houston did. I don't know why this came to my mind, but what Houston did with Devin Singletary last year on Dameon Pierce never worked out. Devin Singletary ends up being the lead back, but you guys get what I'm saying. Hunter Renfrow, I don't think he's going to be back with the Las Vegas Raiders. I wouldn't be surprised if Davante Adams wasn't on the Raiders. I'm seeing way too many trades. I'm seeing way too many horrible trade ideas on Bleacher Report and all these random articles. I hope he stays. Jacoby Myers as well. Jacoby's a guy who just kind of thrives in short yardage situations, short yardage catches, and Luke Getsy likes to, run and gun it. He likes to run a vertical style offense. He likes big plays. So, I do think the room's going to look very different. Now, one thing I do want to just mention really quickly is Cole Kmet. I love Cole Kmet. I sat next to him in high school math. He got Cole Kmet, Luke Getsy, the offense coordinator, with the Chicago Bears. Like, there were only a couple of bright spots with Chicago this past season. One of them was Cole Kmet. And we take a look at a guy like Michael Mayer, who had a very underwhelming rookie season. It was a very underwhelming offensive year for the Raiders, and that's what I'm going to draw it up to. 27 catches, 304 yards. But we know Michael Mayer has a ton of talent and a ton of potential. Now, as far as QB1 goes, we'll continue. We've been talking about that for a while. We'll continue to talk about that until we know, until draft day. But I do think the Raiders are leaning towards a rookie quarterback, as I think they should. I think they shouldn't be afraid. I don't think Tom Telesco is afraid of making a big-time move. If you've got your guy, you know your guy, trade up and get him. And yesterday we talked about Jaden Daniels, and I've been liking what I've been reading as far as, people are worried about his size. People are worried about, can he last a whole duration of a regular season because of his size? And, I wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Daniels slipped to like pick number 6, pick number 7, and the Raiders were able to trade up, not trade a guy like Max Crosby, obviously not trade a guy like Davante Adams, and pick their guy. But a lot of these rookie QBs are really intriguing to me. Obviously, Caleb Williams and Drake May, but Jaden Daniels, the Heisman winner, especially got Bo Nix. You got Michael Penix Jr. in there. I got JJ McCarthy. I'm excited for whoever the Raiders decide to go with quarterback 1, especially with Luke Getsy at the offensive coordinator position. I know that sounds weird to say. It's kind of like a hot take right now, but hold me to it. I'm going to stick to my guns. I believe in this Raiders team. I like what Antonio Pierce is building, and that's all we got tonight. So hit that like button, hit that sub button, and give me your thoughts on the Las Vegas Raiders offensive future. Peace.